Good morning, everyone. Hey, I am so sorry I'm running about a minute behind here because I was having some technical difficulties with my camera on my phone. It was acting all wonky on me, but I think I got it fixed. So welcome to day number 6. I am so thrilled again that you guys are with me and you are hanging in there and you are doing this. We are almost a third of the way through our study. So yay you. Thank you so much for joining me bright and early this morning on this cold December day. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that Christmas is right around the corner. And I don't know, like this year for me, for some reason, just feels a little different. In the past couple of years, I've dreaded winter. Like I am not a cold weather girl. I've grown up in Ohio my whole life. Good morning, Cora. Good morning, Carol. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's great what a shower and makeup will do for you. Thanks, Cora. Good morning, Chris. Um, yes, this helps me wake up and get out of bed in the morning as well too. So anyways, December, cold weather. I'm not a cold weather girl. I love Christmas though. I always have. But the past few years, for some reason, it's just seemed like another thing to do. Like as far as the gift giving and, the shopping and the getting, out in the cold and planning things. And I don't know. This year though, I am excited. I am so excited. And I don't know if maybe doing this study has something to do with my spirit inside that is just being uplifted as we are awaiting the birth of our Savior. I don't know, you guys. I just feel like this is going to be such a wonderful journey that we're going through with this study leading into Christmas. And I'm just so glad and so tickled that you guys are all joining in with us. So Chris said that this helps me get out of bed in the morning and not lounge and be lazy. Absolutely, because that's me right there. I'm not a morning girl. Mornings are not my thing. I like to slowly wake up. Even when I was like a teenager in high school, I can remember I would set my alarm in the morning and I would purposely set it like a half an hour before I really needed to get up. And then I set it on, I had one of those clock radios that had, the radio station. So when the alarm went off, it wasn't the I could never, ever wake up to that. I had music playing and I just had it real low, just loud enough so that it would wake me up and I could just kind of like, okay, I know, all right, the music's playing. I got another half an hour before I really have to get up. So anyways, that just helped me get up in the mornings. But I want to share something with you guys that a director friend of mine with my business shared at a leader meeting last month that I've been using somewhat. Probably need to use it a little more consistently and be intentional about it. That was our word the other day, right? Be intentional. It's called the 5-second rule. And I honestly, I'm not going to go into detail. I forget the lady that actually came up with this whole science. It's actually a science that you can trick your brain into. And she got it from a rocket launch or shuttle launch, like the countdown, right? Instead of counting up, because if we count up, we can count to infinity, right? The numbers never stop. But if we count down, we end at 0, right? Like 1 is the last number before we hit 0. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Debbie. So it's called the 5-second rule, and you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you launch yourself. So she said she started doing this in the mornings when she was kind of paralyzed. She was going through a real rough season in her life, and she was finding that she was falling into depression and just kind of like getting stuck in bed and kept hitting that snooze button and just didn't want to get up and face the day. So she started doing this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing, and it worked. It worked for her. So I know I shared with you guys about my dad, about how he's been sick for the last year and a half, and transitions are really hard for him. Even the transition of getting up out of a chair and walking and moving and going into the bathroom, or moving from the chair at the dining room table to sitting in his recliner. Just that getting up and moving process is very difficult for him. And we were counting, like, all right, Dad, let's get up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Get up, right? My kitty cat's jumping in the picture here. Good morning, Lacey. So I had this idea, like, oh, well, let's see. You know, he could just, the way his mind is working these days, he could just continue to keep counting. So let's try counting down. So when I was there last week, I tried it with him, and I'm like, all right, Dad, let's count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at the beginning, like, he would get up on 1. And as the week went on, he was actually getting up at 2 or 3. He was trying to beat me getting to 1, which I thought was really amazing. And then I think I shared with you guys in one of my comments from that post that I made last week, when I shared the picture of the two of us at his treatment. That was last Thursday. It was a week ago today. That he has been speaking in Russian a lot, and he has been kind of teaching it to whoever is in the room with him. He will say something in Russian and then translate it into English and then try to get you to say it in Russian. So he taught me how to count to 5 in Russian. So I'm going to teach you guys how to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it would get him to get up. So anyways, I just thought that I would share that with you guys this morning. Also, I would really love to ask for your prayers for him. He went to the hospital yesterday because he was running a low-grade fever, and right before they left, he had a seizure and had some on the way. He's been admitted to the ICU. Only reason for ICU is to monitor the seizure activity. He needs a nurse in there at all times. But he has continued to have some small seizures being at the hospital. So just please keep him in your prayers. This is not anything new. He has a non-traumatic brain injury, and due to the nature of the brain injury, the seizures are prevalent, and they can happen. So I just ask if you guys can think about it today, just to say a quick little prayer for him, for his doctors, and also for my sisters. One lives down there, another one is visiting this week with him. Those that are taking care of him. So thank you so much for that. So, all right, real quick, I'm going to do a little housekeeping again, and I'm because in the videos that I watch that Monique does, if you're not all watching them, that's cool. You can just watch these. You can watch hers and not mine, whatever you want to do. But what she does in her video at the beginning is she stops everybody and says, thank you so much for joining us. But if you have not done days 1 through 5, stop right now. And I want you to go back and go to whatever day you need to start at, and start there. So if you are just now joining us and you have not done day 1 yet, today is day 1 for you. It is not day 6. Tomorrow will be day 2, and the next day will be day 3. Okay, does that make sense? So don't try to catch up. Don't try to rush this. It is a process, and it deserves our time and attention. And it is not something, it's not like, oh, I'm a couple chapters behind in my book, I need to catch up. You know, or, oh my gosh, my homework is due tomorrow and I have 5 days worth that I need to do. I need to do it all tonight. No, don't do that. Don't stress yourself out like that. It's not worth it, number 1. And number 2, you're not going to get out of this study what you truly need. So just stop whatever it is you're doing, get off of this video if you're watching me live or if you're watching the replay, and go back to whatever day you need to start with. If you missed a day, go back and start at that day. It's okay to not be right in line with everybody in this group on the same day, because we have the wonderful ability to go back and watch the recordings of these videos. Glenna Richardson shared how to be able to move the posts in a group into chronological order as they were posted. So she posted a little video of how to do that. I have not been able to watch it yet. It's a comment in one of the posts in here, a post that she made. So I'm going to go back and look at that and see if I can post that in the group. Maybe that will help some people be able to follow along as you know, in a more chronological order. So let's see, let me catch up on comments here real quick, and then we're going to move into day 6's topic, always growing. I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about this one. So hold on, let me look at the comments here. Ruth, yes, changing, something is changing in my spirit too. Yay! Feeling calmer and more focused. Oh, isn't that awesome? Thank you, Chris. Prayers for your dad. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Cora. I appreciate that, guys. Okay, so let's do a little quick recap, okay? On day 1, we had giving control to God, right? Give God control. That's the first step. We need to say, all right, God, you are in control. This is not about me. This is about you. You will provide the direction that I need to do what you want me to do. Day number 2, freedom from the past. Letting go of whatever is holding you back, whatever is keeping you stagnant, whatever is paralyzing you, stifling you, and causing you to not be able to move forward, not to experience growth like we're going to talk about today. Day 3, you are uniquely made. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. There is no one on this earth that is like you. And God has given you wonderful gifts, talents, and abilities to be able to use for His glory. And the sooner you recognize what those are and accept them, the sooner that you will be able to start getting busy and doing His work. Day number 4 was catching a vision. And it's funny because I went to go put my jewelry on this morning, and I pulled a bracelet out that I haven't worn recently. And I got this at a conference I went to 2 years ago, and it was for a specific training program that I was in and was able to graduate from, so to speak. And it was kind of like a little reception and a finalization conclusion of that training program. And they gave us a little gift, and it was this little bracelet right here, this one here, and this one right here in the middle. And it says create vision on the little silver piece that's on there. So I thought, I picked that up and I was like, oh, that's really cool. That goes right along with what we're talking about. So I put that on today, and I need to remember to put this on more often to make a reminder to myself each day. Each day can have its own vision, right? We can have a vision of how our day is going to look. We can have a vision of how our week is going to look. And we can have a vision of all sorts of things, how we want our family life to be, how we want our spiritual life to be, how we want our business to be. Create that vision. All right. And then yesterday was to be intentional. So we talked about picking a word out. I like to do it at the beginning of the year. I like to pray and ask God to give me a word for my year, how my year is going to go, right? And I think the first year I did that was back in 2014. And John Gordon, there was a leadership book, or not leadership necessarily, but a book that was floating around by John Gordon that asked, or suggested that each person pick a word at the beginning of the year to kind of set the tone for the year and to kind of be their theme or something like that for the year for them. And so back in 2014, I pulled this out to show you guys. I went to a leadership retreat in the beginning couple months of the year, and at the retreat, the leader of the retreat asked us to create a little piece of artwork using our word that we had for the year. So I wanted to show you guys this. Here is my little, let me get this on the camera right. There we go. All right, so you can see my word for 2014 was growth. And so, but what did I want to grow in? What were my specific goals? So I had spiritual growth, personal growth, family growth, and not necessarily expansion of family, but just to grow our relationships, grow closer, and just form those really strong bonds that only families can have. And then also I put down to grow my team, and this was business related. I really wanted growth in my team that year. And so anyways, this is just something that you can do to kind of keep your focus on whatever it is. So I did growth that year. I showed you my jar of my thankful things that I'm thankful for that I did for this year, and that sits right here on my desk every morning. So or every day. So that reminds me of my word, my theme for the year. So today we are going to talk about growth, about always growing, and I know that hopefully you guys will be doing day 6's homework today. I have been doing mine a day ahead so that I can be prepared to talk with you guys about it. And as I was doing my homework yesterday, I don't know, when I was reading her chapter, like she was like, oh, we need to embrace growth, and growth can be scary, but growth is a good thing. And I don't know. I just felt like what do you feel? What do you think when you hear the word growth? Is it a scary word for you? Maybe I'm just different. Growth to me is a positive word. Like, we want growth, right? Like, you would be standing still and stagnant, and nothing would be happening in your life if you didn't have growth. That's just my perspective on it. So I took the time I really wanted to kind of dive into this subject because I really do like the word growth. So I wrote down some words that can be associated with the word growth. Okay, so and there was only a couple negative things that I came up with for the word growth, and that would be a malignant growth, or something related to cancer, things that we don't want, that kind of growth, right? Then there's also a benign growth, which it's still a growth, it's still there, it's still a little cause for concern, but they found out that it should not be harmful, right? How about growth plate? Like when you have a child, or when you're a child, and you break a bone, or your child breaks a bone, the big concern is that they did not harm their growth plate, because we want them to be able to continue to grow, right? So there's that. How about growth spurt? I have a 14-year-old son, and man, in the past couple years, he has gone through some growth spurts, let me tell you. When he is sleeping all the time and eating all the time, then I know that there's a growth spurt coming. He is about 6 foot tall now. I'm 5'4", just for frame of reference. I'm 5'4 1/4", but he is almost 6 foot tall. He's over 6 foot tall with shoes on, and he's only 14. He turned 14 in August. So he still has high school to go through, and we're thinking he's probably going to be, 6'2" to 6'4" by the time he's all done growing. So growth spurt. Now here's a business-related one: growth rate. We like to see positive numbers for growth rate, right? We want to see those numbers going up. It's the end of the year, so a lot of you may be looking at business reports and seeing where your growth rates are, where you've grown over this past year, whether it is you've grown in sales, you've grown in team numbers, you've grown in personal sales, organizational sales, depending on what you're looking at. How about growth potential? That means that there's a potential to grow, right? So you may be looking at areas like that, meaning that, okay, well, this number is lower than last year. That's not a good thing. So this is a growth potential for us. So we want to concentrate on this particular area for next year to make sure those numbers go up this year and not continue to go down. Okay, so those are some different things that I thought about that you can associate the word growth for or with. And then I also pulled up some synonyms of the word growth. I really like these, guys, because if you don't like the word growth, then you can maybe think of these other words instead. Advancement, improvement, betterment, perfection. Is that possible? I don't know if we can reach perfection. Only God is perfect, right? But we can strive for perfection, right? Maturing, flourishing, enhancement, evolvement. And this one right here is what we're going to get into in the chapter. This is a word I like to think about when she's saying that growth can be hard and growth can be scary. Refinement. What do you guys think of when you hear the word refinement? Refinement can be a little scary. When I hear refinement, I think of Daniel in the lion's den, Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire. I think of hard times that we have to go through in order to grow, in order to become more beautiful. Think of a diamond. Think of gold. Diamonds have to be put under so much pressure. They start out as carbon, right? It's like coal, basically. And then when they're put under so much pressure, that's when they become a diamond, which diamonds are a girl's best friend, right? I'm an April baby and diamond is my birthstone. I was out last night with my husband and we were kind of doing a little Christmas decoration shopping, and I saw these little signs, you know, all these cute little cutesy signs are out these days, are popular, and they have little sayings on them. And this particular one said, "My birthstone is a coffee bean." You know what? I love coffee, but I would never ever trade my birthstone, a diamond, for a coffee bean. So I'm just saying, sorry, it's a little side note there. So, you know, and then gold. Gold has to be put through such high temperatures to be refined, to go from a black material to the beautiful shiny gold material that we hold so precious. It's a precious metal, right? And what about pottery? Beautiful vases and bowls and mugs and all these beautiful pottery pieces that are, you know, glazed or unglazed. In my line of business, we sell stoneware, right? And we sell ceramic pieces, and they have to be put through extremely high temperatures in order to become the beautiful vessels that they become in the end. So think about those words when you think about growth. Oh, I wanted to share one other little thing here with you too. That same year that I had growth as my word for the year, I found this. Oh, my fingers are covering up. I found this in the Dollar Tree. It was like in the little garden section in the spring. And it was, you know, it's a little stone to put out in your garden. And I got this to set on my desk as another little reminder, you know, to grow, whether it's personal growth, spiritual growth, growth in my family, growth in my team, growth in my business. I encourage you guys to get a little reminder of whatever your word is for you. So I think I'll put this back out again this year. I had it sitting on my bookcase back here, but I think I'll set it back on my desk again for 2019 because I would love to see some growth in my business this year, right? We all would, right? So let's talk about what Monique has to say here in the chapter. She says, one of the best ways we can be intentional in our life is to always be growing. We should always look at growth as becoming stronger, not validating our weaknesses. So the first memory verse that she has for us today is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. And this is the NLT version. Pride goes before destruction and haughtiness before a fall. Let's ponder on that for just a little bit. Pride goes before destruction and haughtiness before a fall. So what does pride have to do with growth? Well, pride can prevent growth. If we get kind of stuck on ourselves and kind of little egotistical, maybe like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing a good job. I think I can do this on my own. God, thanks for the help. I'm good now. I'm going to do it myself. Then what happens? Then we crash, right? Maybe we keep on for a little bit, keep that momentum going for a little bit, but then we crash, and we can crash hard. We can fall right on our face. Haughtiness before a fall. That's a scary place to be, guys. When we allow pride to creep in and deceive us, it destroys our lives. What better way to keep us from becoming stronger than to fool us with pride? And who does that? Who do you think whispers in that little ear saying, wow, you are awesome? Have you guys seen, what is it? Oh gosh, forgot the name of the movie. Moana, the Disney movie. It is my little nephew's favorite movie. He is turning a year old on the 14th this month, and ever since he has been big enough to watch a TV, like literally like in his pumpkin seat staring at the TV, he's loved this movie Moana. But anyways, if you've seen it, and a little part of it is Moana whispering into Maui's ear, and she's saying, Maui, you are so awesome. Like, it's like she's trying to paint a picture of the people cheering for him because he has become this big hero because of what he has done. He has saved all of them. And so she's kind of like trying to build up. Well, that's guys, that's what the devil does. He whispers in our ear. Oh, hi, Lacey, you're back again. He whispers in our ear, and he tells us those lies. He tries to say, you did this on your own. You are fantastic. You are amazing. You don't need God. You can do this all by yourself. Lies, guys. We can do nothing by ourselves. It is only by the grace of God that we are here on this earth today, right? So if you buy into these lies and don't embrace growth, you stay in your current state. So, we are going to take these thoughts captive and replace lies with truths, beginning with growth. All right. And then she says, who's with me? Who's with me? Who wants to replace those lies with truth and begin to grow? I know I do, right? So she asks us to take a few minutes and write out ways that we've allowed pride to keep us from growing over the course of our lives. Ask the Lord to bring moments to your mind and share them below. So if you had the book, great. If you don't have the book, just take some time to do that. So ways that we have allowed pride to keep us from growing over the course of our life. Ask the Lord to bring those moments to your mind and share them below. So, what I happened to share was that I can get to a point where I feel confident and that I have everything figured out. Yep, this is going great. Check. I've got everything going the way I want it to go. I've done my work. Now it's just going to be smooth sailing. I can just sit back and relax, and I don't have to work anymore because everything is going to take care of itself. And it might for a very short period of time. But then it's going to be like, oh my gosh, things are falling apart. What am I going to do? And then it becomes panic mode. What am I going to do? And then I have to jump in and I have to just work harder than I ever have before just to get it back to where it was. That's silly, guys. Like, why should we do that? I should be working consistently, intentionally every single day as far as working on my business goes and the time frame, my business hours that I've set for myself. I can't, it's not about taking time off. We're approaching the end of the year. And December is kind of a crazy month as far as sales can go, sales businesses, retail. direct sales. I know a lot of us are direct sales people that are in this group. And we can tend to look at December as a half month, right? Because Christmas and New Year's are coming and not a lot of action happens the second half of the month. And if you are a leader and you have a team, your team can be viewing it the same way as well. And what can happen is, if we are not being intentional in December to plan for January, if we say, okay, well, we're done for the month. It's, I'm stopping right here. I'm spending the next time, the next couple of weeks with my family. I'm not even going to think about my business. I'm not going to look at my business. And then January 1st comes and you open up your calendar and you're like, oh, crud. I don't have enough on my calendar to maintain the business that I want. Now what am I going to do? Then it takes time to catch back up. Then you're in panic mode, right? We don't want to be in panic mode. So, Monique on here, I love how she talks to us through this book, and she says she appreciates taking the time to think deeply about each day's topic. And her prayer is that these topics bring encouragement and not condemnation. We want to encourage you. There is no condemnation through this book. Like, if you guys are feeling like there's a finger pointing at you, I pray that feeling just stops right now in Jesus' name, because we're all in this together. We are all uniquely made, but we can all feel the same things. And we have to know, we have to understand that, that God doesn't want us to feel like we've done anything wrong. It's the past is in the past. Yesterday is gone. Today is a brand new day. Every day is new, and his mercies are new every single morning. So please just feel encouraged and know that this is all about you moving forward and having growth in your life. Okay? So know that. Next, she goes on here and she talks about growth requiring stretching. And when you work out or whatever, you need to stretch out beforehand. Otherwise, you could hurt yourself, right? You could get a cramp. You could get a pulled muscle. None of that feels good. So even though the stretching might hurt some, if we don't do the stretching, the injury that's going to follow is going to hurt worse. Okay? And I love at the end of this paragraph here, she says, no pain, no gain. We all know that one, right? No pain, no gain. We don't wake up this beautiful, right? So, beauty can be painful, so to speak, but no pain, no gain. So thankfully, our businesses continue to grow and expand, which means that, as they're growing, expanding, we have to grow as well too, personal growth, okay? And heading into a new year, we really do have to create that vision that we want for ourselves, for our teams, if we have teams, if we're in a leadership position of some sort, or even if you are in like the corporate world, and you're not a business owner, but you work for a business, and I'm sure that you probably have coworkers that you are with on a daily basis, or maybe you're broken up into teams that you work with. So, we have to have a vision for our teams or our coworkers or our business, even if it's just how we are going to participate in daily activities and interaction with all of them. There has to be some sort of vision. Without it, you're going to ensue chaos. Lacey, I need you to move. She's wanting to be all up in our devotion time together today. Come on, Lacey, go. So we're getting there, guys. We're totally getting there. So she asks us, she says, what is it for you? Are there areas in your life that you need to stretch? Has your comfort led to complacency? And remember yesterday, guys, I said that we can find comfort in our dysfunction. So has that comfort led to complacency? So, my thoughts were that I need to stretch more to be consistent. I've been working on it and things are moving forward, but I feel that they could grow even more if I was paying more attention and working harder. And maybe I shouldn't have said working harder. The phrase work smarter, not harder. I think that's what I really need to put in there. I need to work smarter. It's not that I'm not working hard. I am working hard. I know that. It's working smarter and being more consistent. So the next section she has here is that when we experience growth, it can be through a trial. Trials aren't fun, guys. They can be hard, but we can experience the growth through them. I have learned to embrace through a lot of hard trials, but I've gone through a lot. But I have learned to embrace them now because I know, when things are going good, it's like, okay, it's great right now, but I know something else is coming. All right, where is it? When's it going to happen? Bring it on. I'm ready. I've gotten to that point. And I actually expect them, not only expect them, anticipate them, and I welcome them. And the reason I do that is because as I've looked back over past trials I've gone through, I can see where those trials have brought me. I can see where what's happened in my life that at the time I thought was negative and devastating and crushing to me, I can see the good that has come out of it. And I can see where I've had growth. I can see where God is leading me to something better through that hard time. So I've learned to accept them, and I actually get a little bit excited because I know that going through this is going to lead to something good, and I want to get to the good, right? So I've been talking about my husband and this whole job change thing with him where, he found out at the end of August, beginning of September, that this company he's with, tomorrow's his last day, guys, his company that he's with is going to be closing on December 7th. We found this out at the beginning of September. As devastating as the thought is of him trying to find another job, make sure that the salary is what we needed, make sure the benefits are what we needed, all that stress that can go along with that, I had a peace about it. Number one, we were given time. Once again, this is not the first time, but this is now the second time in a row that we were given time for him to be able to find a new job. It was a shorter amount of time this time. It was only a few months, but it wasn't like he showed up at work and the doors were closed with a sign on it saying, thanks, but no thanks. I mean, that right there in itself is a blessing. They could have come in literally because our state in Ohio, it's an at-will employer. They could have come in and just shut things down. We're done. Packing up, moving to Miami. See ya. Right? And that's not what happened. They did the right thing. They let the employees know. They gave them plenty of notice. They also gave them a severance package, guys. They didn't have to do that. They're paying out unpaid vacation time. That right there was my sign that we were going to be okay. Even if Jason doesn't have a job at the end or at the beginning of December, end of November, beginning of December, moving forward, we will be okay financially to get us through for a little while until he can find another job. So, and my husband, he's been stressing. I mean, he's been a lot better, than he was the first go around 2 years ago. But because I know that he is putting his faith and trust in God, and that is what has made the difference, guys. Like, you know, he knew that he had to find a job to provide for his family. And a lot of times we try to do everything ourselves and take it all on. And instead of saying, all right, God, you lead the way, you open those doors for me. I know that you will do this. I have faith, complete trust, and I believe in you, Lord. That's what he wants to hear, guys. And that's when the growth happens, right? So I know in my heart that God is shutting this door to his current company for a reason. The last company, he shut the door because it became very toxic. He's shutting the company, or the door to this company, and I have seen the writing on the wall for this one as well. It's going down. And God knows that he doesn't want Jason there anymore. So he's moving him to a new company. And I am looking forward to all of the blessings that are going to come from this open door. So the trials can be hard. And, but in the hard times, God gives us some direction and some encouragement. In the book of James 1, chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, she has the NIV version on here, and I'm going to read that first, and then I'm going to read a different version, because to me, the other version correlates a little better with our growth. Boy, we're running long today. I'm sorry, guys. I am talking a lot today. I've got lots of energy this morning. But the next version, I feel I'll explain it to you when I get to it. So let's read the NIV version first. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Maturity was one of those other synonyms for growth that I read earlier. So I'll read the NIV version one more time, then I'm going to read the other one. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So the other version I looked up is the ESV version. When troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. When troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So we had the word mature in the NIV version, and we have the word perfect in the ESV version. And perfection, remember, was another one of those synonyms for growth. So I'll read the ESV version one more time. When troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity, I love that word opportunity, for great joy. For you know when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So how does that hit you guys? What do you guys think about that? Growth is a process. It's a process. And I think that we live in a world that with all of the social media stuff, that everything, Google searches, everything is at our fingertips. I mentioned the other day about how people kind of, they check maybe when they're, invited to something. They leave that door open, right, to maybe something better or whatever. We live in a world of instant gratification. People want it and they want it now, right? So, you know, what we need to understand is we need to slow down. We need to go through the process. We need to go through the process of refinement. God could have made the world in a second, guys, in one day. He could have plopped everything down all in the same day. But he took 6 days, a process, one step at a time, to create the world. And then he rested on the 7th day. He did his work, and then he rested. So think about that the next time you are trying to rush something and it's not going your way. Maybe there's something that you need to slow down. Maybe you need to take your time with it. You know, when we have children and they're learning how to do schoolwork, or they're learning how to color, or you know, whatever it is that they're trying to do, there's a process that they're going through, right? And sometimes they try to rush, and when they rush, they make mistakes, right? And we say, slow down, slow down. Or if they're running, there's a chance that they could trip and fall. Slow down, walk. We're not going to run, we're going to walk. Sometimes we hold their hand, and sometimes we let them go. And I feel like God does the same thing. If we hold out our hand to him, he will take it, and he will walk beside us, and he will lead us. But if we pull that hand away, he'll let us. He'll say, okay, you try to do it your way and see how it works. And when you're ready, I'll be right here for you. So I just encourage all of you today to just take your time. Growth is a process. We don't want to speed it up. When our kids are little, we say, oh, time, please slow down, because they grow up so fast. My oldest is getting married next summer. And it just feels like the other day she was a little girl, preschool, refusing to wear anything but dresses. And it's time, slow down, right? So anyways, she goes on to talk some more about some personal things that we can get into, introspective in ourselves. And I feel like that is very personal to each person. I'm not going to get into that. You can get into it yourself. For those of you that don't have the book, I'll read this so you know what she's talking about. It says, what trials have you faced in life? Have you walked through dark times? When were you at your lowest? As difficult as this may be, would you please spend a few minutes writing some of those hard times out below? So in a notebook, you know, just write them out. Get them down on paper. When you're done, if you want, wad it up, throw it away, burn the piece of paper, whatever it is you want to do. But recognize what you've gone through in your life to get you where you are today. That's what's important here, okay? That's why she's asking us to do this. So she says, my prayer is you find peace through your pain. These times will produce perseverance. You will become mature, complete, and lacking for nothing. So, you know, today is a lot of deep stuff, guys. It's good stuff. I really enjoyed this day's chapter, and it makes me excited for the future to see what growth I can anticipate for the next year. So, you know, take your time with this. Take your time. So we're going to end today with Monique's prayer, and then I'm going to go over the walk it out steps, which I believe actually were already posted at 8:45, so they should already be up. So let's say Monique's prayer here. Jesus, we love you so very much. We thank you for all of the many ways you are stretching us and growing us during these 21 days. I ask that you open our eyes to all of the ways that pride and complacency can creep in and keep us from a path of growth. We know we haven't arrived. We acknowledge that we are a work in progress, and we want to embrace growth on this journey. We take captive the thoughts that keep us from growing. We replace lies with truths. Jesus, help us as we push through growing pains. We want to have perseverance. Build our faith in the process. Show us areas in our lives that need growth. Give us wisdom and discernment as we walk out this path. Lord, I pray for any of my friends that are walking through a dark time, a season that is a wilderness. Bring them peace in their pain. May they feel your loving arms wrapped around them, Lord. Renew their strength. May they run and not grow weary. Jesus, may they experience your perfect peace through stormy seasons. I pray they sense your presence like never before. Again, I thank you for all that you are doing in the lives of those drawing close to you during these 21 days. Continue to bring wisdom and revelation as we seek after you. Amen. That was a great prayer, wasn't it, guys? I love her words. All right, so our walk it out for today. Number 1, I am confident you are experiencing growth during these 21 days. Embrace the stretch and the process. It will be worth it, I promise. Number 2, spend time journaling as you walk through different seasons. When you read these in the future, you will be amazed at how much you have grown. So if you have a journal, continue to do it. If you don't have a journal, I highly suggest grabbing a notebook and just, every day or every other day or something, just write down things that are going on in your life, and then you can look back on it. Also, make sure, as I suggested in the beginning, that you write down good things and bad things that are happening in your business each of these 21 days. So at the end of the day, reflect back on the day. Okay, what good thing happened today? What bad things happened today? And write them down so that when you get to the end, you can look back and say, wow, I didn't realize that was happening on that day because it was going to affect day 15, or whatever it happens to be. But that way you have a written record of it, and you can look back and remember, and you can see God working in your life. Number 3, think about specific topics we have discussed that hit home in your life. Find additional verses in the Bible that specifically deal with that area and commit them to memory. So, that can look at you can look at a whole bunch of different ways for that. When the creative vision, you could type in a Bible app if you have one, or in Google even, and just say Vision Bible verses, something like that. And it can pull up different verses that relate to vision, and you can find out what speaks to you. Or if there's other areas in your life that have come up through the daily topics, just use that as your search word for it. And finally, number 4, memorize and meditate on Proverbs 16:18 and James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. So you guys are doing this. Tomorrow's day 7. We are going to be 1 week into our 21 days of prayer for our businesses, and I am just so blessed to have all of you joining me in this. I see all the wonderful comments in our group. People are sharing things. People are messaging me, and God is up to amazing things with us, guys, and I am just so thankful and so just wonderfully blessed that you guys are joining me in on this. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.